welcome to episode 16 of the Fools on a Hill podcast, everyone's favourite hour and a half of the week. I am your host, Cal, and I am joined as ever by the luscious Liam and the... What's an
usual
adjective?
Yanni.
Yeah. I was trying to think of an adjective that began with Y.
Youthful.
But that would be a lie.
Yeah.
Wow.
It would be a lie. How are we, boys? We good?
Was.
I'm very happy being luscious. I don't mind it. This is my favourite hour and a half of the year, to be honest. This one right now.
This one right now.
This is probably my second favourite hour and a half of the year.
My favourite hour and a half of the year is normally when I'm watching MasterChef or something.
Oh, right.
Wow.
It's only once a year.
It is, yeah.
Favourite meal, Cal?
Favourite meal? Oh, that's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. Probably Hunter's chicken. It's quite like a Hunter's chicken.
Okay.
Wow.
Don't know why that was funny.
Okay.
Nice.
It was not the thing I was expecting.
Yeah.
Wow, what were you expecting?
Well, not Hunter's chicken. I don't think that's anyone's favourite meal.
It's usually a bit more luxurious, I feel.
What's wrong with like chicken, barbecue sauce, bacon and cheese? Can't go much better
There's
than
nothing
that.
wrong with
It's
it.
pretty good.
I don't know. Do you viewers or listeners find that funny also? I'm going to say you do. Liam, why don't you tell me about some things that you've done this week, please?
Oh, I've got lots of things, but I'll save them.
Nothing
for,
seedy. We know
I'll
what you
save
like.
them for later. This one's very not seedy and very above board. I watched a documentary, courtesy of Apple TV.
Before we recorded.
This isn't the one you're filming, is it? Because you can't really talk about that. That is seedy.
Oh no, not that one. No, this is separate.
Oh, okay.
Courtesy of Apple TV. Plus, please let me get through this. Although I did download it illegally. Because I'm not paying for Apple TV and I don't have.
Could have just borrowed my password.
You've got Apple TV?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
send me your
no,
details. I want to
actually-
watch Mystic Quest.
Lydia got a free trial, but we
Don't
can't
really
get it
do.
on the Roku, so we didn't watch it on there. Just download it instead. Anyway, it's the Billie Eilish documentary. The World's a Little Blurry, I think it's called. I should have checked. World's a Little Blurry. I'm going to say something like that. It was very interesting. All about Billie Eilish. It kind of started when she was, I guess, from the beginning of her and her brother Phineas recording and making stuff together. They've always recorded themselves on video as well. So there's a lot of them recording her first album. So when she was, I guess she was 16 at the time or something. And it kind of cuts. It's mostly from that point onwards. So you see her kind of become famous and dealing with that and her first time at Coachella and stuff. And it kind of flicks between there and modern times, seeing the crowds and stuff. It's a very good documentary. A very interesting story. Yeah, it's worth a watch for sure if you're into music documentaries.
I do
Did it
recommend
inspire
paying for
you?
it.
Pardon?
Did it inspire you?
Did inspire me. The fact that she was only 16 is crazy because she's so talented. Her brother
Like our
does
podcast.
Oh yeah!
Wow.
Her brother does a lot of the work, I guess, but
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
but you can still tell how involved she is, and comes up with some of the kind of good ideas and stuff. And it's interesting to see her rise to fame at such a young age as well, and her family's all around her, and she's got a boyfriend at one point, and that's kind of it's quite a focal point on the documentary, is her and a boyfriend, because obviously that young age, that's kind of your whole world is when you get a boyfriend or whatever, or girlfriend.
Was for you, wasn't it?
It was. And so, she just comes off stage at Coachella at one point, and he wasn't there, and so she's just really bummed out. But she's just
What a
headlined Coachella, so it's it's a very kind of weird. Don't know. It's interesting. It's good to watch. She's got great songs.
Well, I'll watch that because you've intrigued me.
It's definitely worth watch, and her music's really good. So, yeah,
Wow.
that's all I've done this week.
Cal,
Yeah.
please take the reins. What have you done?
What have I done? I have watched The One on Netflix. It was alright.
I started watching
MasterChef's
that.
back. Are you enjoying it so far?
I just started watching it when we were having tea just before this, so I've watched 15 minutes.
Oh.
What
Seems
is
alright
it?
so far.
Sorry.
It's a Netflix drama. It's a bit kind of Black Mirror-y, but without any kind of like interesting tropes.
It hooked me when he said, "I'll mourn you like a motherfucker." And she's talking about if I die, and he's like, "I'll mourn you like a motherfucker." That was quite good.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin Liam's enjoyment of the series, but
You're well.
I finished it today, and I thought there was more promise than what was delivered.
Okay.
Let's leave it at that.
Wow.
Great. Love
But
that.
We
Can't wait
turned
to
into
Christmas.
Yep.
a
8
film
hours
and
of field time,
TV
you won't get back.
podcast. Okay, well, I've also... thanks, guys. Thanks for
Have you
asking.
done Yanni?
I don't know. I think I've been working on music and
Nice.
buying stuff
Oh, if you
to
bought.
help with...
Favourite purchase?
I bought a Shure SM57 microphone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The industry standard.
And what are you using that for, Yanni? What's that primary?
Wherever I can fit it, to be honest, mate.
Does it come with
But
a
mainly
waterproof cover?
on the guitar amp. Because it's meant to be ideal for recording guitars. I usually would use this mic that we're using, which is the cheaper one of the two I already have, and it sounds better on guitars. Who would have thunk it, eh?
Who would have thunk it?
Not me. Not me when I spent lots of money on the expensive microphone. But yeah, this was only 80 quid, which is nothing to me. Obviously, I'm rich.
Mr. Moneybags.
Oh,
you
God.
silly bastard.
But no, apart from that, not a lot. Just working, you know. Just
Thank God for that,
resting.
because I've had enough to talk about this week.
God, I feel like
Apart
I've given
from
you
The
a whole life story.
Yeah.
eh?
Hey.
Hey.
And
Go
what
on.
is
Go on, make this work. Go on.
what's the story?
Grammy noms.
Nom
Talk
nom
to me,
nom.
Yanni.
So hungry. Talk to you.
Yeah, you've got
That's
the...
what I've been doing. That's the
you've
whole
got the
reason for the
page up, haven't you?
podcast, isn't it?
It
Um,
bloody is.
We've got some winners here because we don't talk about losers here. No. Winner, record of the year, went to aforementioned Billie Eilish
So it did. Yeah.
with Everything I Wanted.
Good shit.
Even though I said I wouldn't mention them, it beat out Circles by Post Malone, Don't Start Now by Dua Peep, Say So by Doja Cat, which I felt like I've
Forgot.
heard constantly throughout this year.
Yeah.
And then some other ones. Black Pumas, have you mentioned those on
Yeah,
the podcast
Black
before?
Pumas are good.
Yeah.
They're not
I'll-
like, if you to think of all the music that's been released in the last year,
They're not like the
why
rest
would
of
you
it.
pick that? Like, are those 6 songs
Okay.
really worthy of a Grammy?
Who knows? Not well.
No, they're
the
not.
Grammy
Only
knows.
Billy is.
Album of the year, Folklore, Taylor Swift. How
Wow.
do we feel about that?
Pretty good album, but I
How-
wouldn't.
How do
Again,
we feel?
so many good albums this year that, like, why would you? You know,
Yeah.
Idols for one on number 10. That's a good album.
Song of the year. I have no idea what this is. I Can't Breathe by HER. I presume it's just said as her,
Yeah, I've heard of.
but I have no idea what that song is.
No idea. I would have assumed
Um,
it'd be a TikTok song or something.
We host a music podcast, everyone.
Yeah,
Very
well,
good knowledge from the three of us.
the best new artist. Now this is where there's a bit of controversy,
Go on.
especially for Elton John.
Mm.
Megan the Stallion
Mm.
has won that.
I
Fe-
don't know any
Phoebe
Megan Thee
Bridges?
Stallion songs.
Wow.
Apart from WAP. Apart from
WAP.
WAP. Has she got any other songs that are popular or?
Yeah, but there wouldn't be anything that we'd listen to. That's why. Yeah, Phoebe Bridges was a contender there. The best pop vocal went to Cal. You'll love this. Dua Peep.
I thought you were going to say it went to me.
Um,
I was going to say it didn't.
Future Nostalgia beat Harry Styles, which
Wow.
I know a lot of people in my flat, well, the other half will be very disappointed by that.
To be fair, I love the Harry Styles album. Fine Line is a great album.
It's alright, isn't it?
I
Um,
thought it was alright. Yeah.
But, you know, he did win something. Best pop solo performance for Watermelon Sugar, which I believe he performed. Is that the
He
one he
did
did?
perform, yeah. It was like
In
a laid
leather.
back version. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I thought when that performance was going on is how sweaty his balls would be.
Yeah. Well,
I reckon they've been sweatier.
Fair point.
What? Just saying, when he goes jogging and stuff.
mm.
In his leathers.
Yes. And that's all the ones I care to share with you.
Yeah.
Oh, best rock album, sorry. The new Abnormal The
Fighters.
Strokes. Yeah, no, The Strokes. They definitely deserve that. Should have been number one for everyone.
Yeah. I feel like even the Strokes to a certain point, they're all just so predictable. Not necessarily in the places they are, but those artists were gonna
The
come
choices, you
top.
mean, the nominees?
No, the actual
the
winners.
nominees and the winners. Yeah,
Mm.
Everyone knew Taylor
I
Swift
mean the
was gonna
nominees
win
again
out.
would probably be even more predictable.
Yeah,
More
I
people.
mean, it's hard to know now with the Grammys because obviously people have slated them for so many years for not being that inclusive. Whether at some points they're just being overly inclusive to stop the hate in certain points.
Have the Grammys been slated for that? I've never really.
Yeah, well, I'm
I
sure.
know film awards always do.
I'm sure with Tyler he won last year, but it was like
We won best rap
for
album.
best rap. It wasn't a rap album
Not
at all. And for a while, wasn't it just called or categorized under like urban or something like that, or along those lines? Like, yeah. So
There was a point where Macklemore. I remember this when Macklemore won best rap over like To Pimp a Butterfly. I think.
That is sickening.
One of the Kanye Yeezus. I think there was a few like big names for that year. I guess in rap, and Macklemore won.
speaking of Kanye, he has won the best. What was it? Contemporary Christian album, I believe. He's also apparently the richest
good
black man at the moment, worth 6.6 billion. Apparently, I've seen that in the news today. But that's all from the Grammys this year. We didn't watch it at all because why?
No.
So yeah, next thing.
What was that album called? What was that Kanye album? It's called Love Is God Is Love. God Is King.
Lord is my shepherd. Jesus is king.
Jesus is King. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that album.
I'm really in the mindset that he probably wanted to call it Jesus is King, but then thought, no, I can't do that. I've got to say Jesus. So yeah, that's the Grammys, everyone.
Woo!
Bet you didn't think it could be that fast, but it can be. They just waste a lot of time.
Over for another year.
Cal, go on. I feel like you'll know a lot about this.
Not really. Love record
Okay.
stores.
Don't we all?
We do. This year will be held on September 4th of 2021. This is what that Sorry album was released for, wasn't it?
There's no need to
The
apologise,
gold.
mate.
The gold one. That's what it was. Love record stores, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Wasn't your Phoebe Bridgers one as well?
Yep. I got a couple of Always albums for Love record stores. They just release, more versions of albums we've all already got, just to fleece us that little bit more. But
I'd never heard of them before last year, but did they do a couple last year?
No,
have they been around
I'm
for
wrong.
A while?
the Sorry one was album of the year.
The Sorry one I'm sure was Love Record Stores.
Oh, I didn't think it was.
I've seen them on Discogs with a sticker that is the Love Mine one didn't for some reason.
Unless it was Love Record Stores album of the year. I don't know. But maybe that's where we're just combining our ideas. But yeah,
Who knows?
who knows? Indeed. But yeah, more records for us all to buy.
Lovely. Better start saving.
Better start saving. Sad news next.
Yeah.
Yes, extremely sad news.
Someone's phone, really?
No, it was my doorbell.
Dinged.
Oh.
Liam, I feel like you always deliver the sad news, so go ahead.
Oh no! Is there no bands anymore? Still, what's going on?
There's definitely there's even less bands now.
Oh shit! Oh no! Not this one. I am given the difficult task of announcing the disbandment.
Nice.
Great word. Of the band. Years and years.
Oh, it's a sin.
They've announced that all.
You know he's coming up with these hours before we record these podcasts.
That
He's
one
just
was off the
on edge.
dome.
Callum,
That one
that was
was off the
genius.
dome.
That was so good.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Thank
That was a good series as well.
That was very
Was.
good
Very
series.
sad. Makes me feel more sad now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mr. Ollie Alexander, is carrying on under the name Years and Years. Is that right?
Yeah,
As a
yeah.
solo artist?
Yeah.
Okay, so Years and Years is still a thing, but it's just him. The latest album has been an Ollie endeavour, according to
I think it was.
whoever wrote this.
I think it was. They put a tweet up. I think,
Okay,
and I'm sure.
so I assume then the last thing they've done has been mostly him, and so they've decided that he's just gonna
Yeah.
just be him. One member, Mikey, is going to stay on as a live member. With the other one, Emre, I'm assuming, is focusing on writing, producing separately, I'm guessing.
I'm
4 years and
literally
years.
taking.
Great. I love that you wrote these notes, and who knows what they mean.
Honestly, mate,
So-
read the tweet. There's not much more information.
From this, then, we could one thing could be that they are staying together.
Yeah, they're definitely
way.
staying together. That's no,
But
that's
Emery's-
what I'd read from this tweet. I'd say that they're not disabandonment, and Ollie is transforming himself into a badger. And I think that's what you can take away from that tweet, to be honest. Larry Pink the human. Why?
I'm so lost.
Why are they
More music?
more music? Why though? That's what.
Who's
I
Larry
wanna-
Pink Human, the fella from Slaves?
Yeah, Laurie from Slaves, and the last track that was released under this project was painful to the ears. Really quite bad. So, I mean, the only way is up.
Baby.
Hopefully.
You and me.
No.
The new single will be called 11, spelt 11, and then numbered 11.
Word 11, number 11.
Out March 26th. So not long to wait, boys.
Oh,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, indeed. Hell. You do the next one.
Me?
Ew, you.
Ew.
Griff Reese
Ew.
from Super Furry Animals is releasing an album, Seeking New Gods, which will be out on the 21st of May. New song, Lone Your Loneliness, also released this week, which we will cover in approximately 33 minutes.
Okay, I'm making a note.
Wow. Okay.
That's going to be a 50. It's going to be 10-2. Okay.
We'll see.
Quick maths.
We'll see. Super Furry Animals. Who are they?
Welsh band from
I know the name very well. but do we
pioneers
know any
of
songs?
Cool Cymru, apparently. You know, like
course,
Stereophonics,
they-
Manic Street Preachers.
They invented Wales.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
That's
Is that like
something.
Manchester?
Yeah, Cool Cymru.
Oh,
Sake,
fucking hell.
that's so bad. Oh, that makes me sad to be Welsh.
Why have you got a Scouse accent then?
Listen, I've got a
He's a
dual
plastic
citizenship. Thank you very much. I've got a Scouse passport.
Yeah,
Great.
I've never listened to Super Furry Animals. Feel like I probably should, but
I
Wow.
definitely know of them. Like, but I can't think of a single song by them. Yanni, do you know anything about them?
No, mate. Even less
That
of an
feels weird.
idea.
I even just looked on Spotify and don't recognise the names of any of the songs.
I reckon if you listen to them, you would you'd hear it. The next bit of news we've got is
highlight of the week.
scary. Do you know why it's scary? Tom Odell has announced an album, Monsters, which is due June. Bad word to before June 25th.
To answer your
It's a
question,
real summer album.
do you know why it's scary? It's not because of the name Monsters. It's because of the actual music that's been released so far.
Which-
Fuck.
We will unfortunately be going over. I mean, fortunately, because we don't want to spoil anything.
Keep listening, guys,
who knows?
please. There was also another song, I think it's called Numb, released from this album, and apparently it's his most experimental yet. And
Is that how you feel after listening to both those songs?
if that's the most experimental one we'll get, it's not good, is it?
Yeah, but he's not capitalized any of the album tracks or the album title, so you know that
Edge.
always means that it's going to be edgy as shit.
It's going to be really cool.
Last bit of news: Inhaler
Get me
announced an
breath.
album. Wow, people actually suffer. Carl, you're just making a joke. It won't always be like this. Some days, you know, we'll be less happy to be bringing you news, maybe. Some days we'll be on top of the world. No, but that's the name of the album that Inhaler will be releasing on July the 16th, which is Molly's birthday. Wow.
Oh wow, what a
Happy
treat!
What a treat. She doesn't
birthday.
even listen to Inhaler.
Well, she should.
I'm going to force it upon her. That's the only thing I will force upon her, though, because consent is a real thing, everyone.
It is.
It is.
Okay.
And do I have your consent, Yanni, to move on from this section onto the next?
I don't know. You'd need to describe it to me, first of all,
Well,
for me to have an
listen,
idea.
I've got your consent, but I'm going to have to
Hot off the
tickle
press.
your... Callum!
Oh, there we go.
Callum.
Oh yeah.
I know it's not. So just tell us about your album.
Tom Grennan's sophomore album, Evering Road, was what I had to
Ooh.
listen to this week.
Sophomore.
I think many people can tell from the sound of my voice. It was a long listen. Let's put it at that.
Arduous.
Sorry?
Arduous.
I don't know what that
What'd you
word
say?
means.
Just agree. Just agree with it because it is the right word to use.
Okay, yeah, mate, yeah, arduous. You took it out of my mouth.
Yeah, difficult and tiring.
Okay, yeah.
Got you.
I'm going to start by saying, and I feel like I do say this quite often, it's just not aimed at me. It's not for me. It's not a bad album. I think he's a very talented musician. He has a voice that I think is quite good.
Wow.
But
Did you make any notes for this, Carl?
no, I did, I did. But I was making notes as I went along, obviously. And other than the fact that he has a good voice, I didn't have anything nice to say about it, really. And even the voice annoyed me because what is it with singers pronouncing words stupidly? Lewis Capaldi
What
does
did you
it.
say?
I mean, he's just Scottish, mate. He can't.
No, it's not.
That's a bit
No,
offensive.
It's not
mate.
because if you listen
God.
to their talking voice and their singing voice, they put on this stupid.
I need some examples, Carl.
Yeah, can you
I need
give me
some
an example? Actually, just sing right now for it, please, Carl.
Sing us,
No.
please.
Like with Lewis Capaldi, he said when he says loved, he says like loathed. It annoys me. But Tom Grennan does
That's Irish, that. Right?
to be sure. And it just annoyed me. Like this album was nearly an hour long. That's
Wow.
at least 40 minutes too long for me. But yeah, I don't really have any highlights from the album. The names they've long gone. A couple of the singles were quite good, but they're very, very Tom Grennan, just not as good as stuff from the first album.
If
IMO.
I've never listened to this and I wanted to know what I would be expecting, how would you describe the music?
I would describe the music as Love Me Again by John Newman, but just about 10 times less good.
That's
Wow.
so accurate.
And a bit
That is
slower.
so good.
Just a bit slower. Like, just
Okay.
that is not a slight on John Newman because that song is tip top.
No, it's
However,
just
this
like on
is a
Tom Grennan.
slight on John Newman's brother, who has released a shit Eurovision song. Fucking
Randy
hell.
Newman.
Oh, it's bad. It's so bad. The song, I don't know if we mentioned this when we were recording, but you mentioned, oh no, we'll talk about it later, a song that sounds like something else.
Oh, yes.
Let's Go Home Together, which is Ella Henderson's song with Tom Grennan, features on the deluxe version of this album, is, excuse me, the biggest rip-off of Too Little Too Late by JoJo. Really, really,
Okay.
really blatantly obvious.
I'm just going to agree with you because I'm never going to listen
Yeah,
to any
I
of this
wouldn't.
album.
I
So-
wouldn't. With that in mind,
You're right, though.
this album is gonna have a 4 out of 5. No, I'm joking.
What?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Just say it.
No, 3 out of 5.
What he means is 2 out of 5.
What I mean is 2 out of 5, but
mean,
officially I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Why?
Ah, fuck it, 2 out of 5.
You're an idiot.
Thank you.
You're an idiot.
There we go.
You're not an idiot anymore.
Now you are respected. Vivian.
Thank you. I take it neither
I
of you
respect your
listened to it.
opinion.
Absolutely not, no,
I
mate.
did.
Oh,
I
he did.
listen to it in full. Yeah.
Did you listen to it all?
I think I listened to it in full because it felt like one song, so I don't really know.
Yeah,
no, I
very
didn't.
fun.
I did. I actually happened. I got to the last song of the standard edition. And I was like, oh, surely this is the end. And then I checked, and it was. So I didn't listen to the 2 deluxe tracks.
Don't.
Very sad I didn't get to hear Ella Henderson.
To be fair, the last track on the last track of it all, so the last one on the deluxe, was actually all right. But by the time I'd heard it all 13 times before,
Yeah.
I was a bit,
This is it's mum music, isn't it? This
Oh,
is
100%.
music that mums listen to. Yeah.
100%.
I don't like his voice, so then the whole thing just wasn't. I don't think it's bad, but it just annoyed me.
I agree.
Musically, it's quite good, but I assume he probably has nothing to do with the music.
Well, I looked at the writing credits, and every song there's at least 2 other people writing it with him.
Yeah, so
Which,
it's not-
that's completely fine. But
That isn't actually that many for a pop artist. That's
yeah, no, I
That's-
suppose you're right.
very small.
But anyway,
But yeah, it's fine. I did recognise quite a few of the songs just from like adverts, I'm guessing, or
yeah.
the radio.
That's what you call it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Radio Cymru. Yeah,
But let's move on,
please.
please.
Mr. Godfrey.
Right. So you want to know what I listen to, don't you?
Yes, really do.
Mhm.
I really,
okay,
really want to.
I listen to Sorry.
It's all right, mate. You don't need to apologise, mate. It's absolutely
Hey!
fine.
Running jokes dry.
I listen to the band Sorry's.
It's really
live-
okay, mate.
Fuck off. Their live album, A Night at the Windmill, recorded at the Windmill in Brixton.
Was it at night by any chance?
It was a night
Okay.
out there. I don't have written down when it was recorded. I think it was like October. Could be wrong though.
Could be.
So, first thing to note is that it was a socially distanced gig, or at least it was a sat-down gig, as far as I'm aware. So it was tables. So you can hear you can hear like cheering at points, but it's not very prominent. Basically, they played their album 925 in almost.
Way
in
to
full.
make a living.
Living, yeah.
There are a few omissions from that album, most notably
CO2?
Rock and Roll. Please stop interrupting me. Most notably the song Rock and Roll Star, but we also missed More and O to Boy. I think they were the only ones missing. I would have liked to see Rock and Roll Star, but hey ho. If you want to know my thoughts on this album, go and listen to our album of the year stuff, because spoiler alert, it was my number 1. So I did like this album very much. That being said, this is it's a pretty bad it's pretty bad record, really, I guess, in full. Recording quality isn't fantastic. It's not the worst. I think actually the worst part is the playing by the band called Sorry.
It's all right, mate.
So yeah, I think the quality itself is okay. It's just that they're just not tip-top performers live, clearly. It's kind of put me off seeing them live, to be honest. Especially when their album, the album at 925 is made so well. Like, it sounds so good. They're clearly very much a studio band. So yeah, I haven't really got a lot to say. There are parts of the songs where like a guitar line isn't there because they haven't got enough people, I guess, or like the lyrics are sung weird, it's out of time, and it's just it's just messy. It's a very messy performance.
Oh.
So it's worth a listen, I think, if you're a fan of the band Sorry. But if you're not, I don't know why you ever listen to it, apart from the fact there are 2 new songs on here, which again, I guess you'd only care about if you're a fan of the band Sorry. We have the song "There's So Many People That Want to Be Loved." Just played that live by accident. Lied. And there's also the song called "I Miss the Fool That I Loved." I really enjoyed both of these new songs. I thought they were really good. We are going to talk a bit later on about 2 new songs that they've put out. But I mean, we'll talk about them later, but I think they're just going to be singles. They don't sound like album songs to me. Because these 2 on this live album sound like their old stuff. So it would make more sense that they carry on doing stuff like that. But I thought, yeah, both of these tracks are really good. It shows a lot of promise for whatever they're doing next. From what you can tell of the live performance, anyway. There's a few cool things. at the very beginning they come on to Mad World by Gary Jules before they go into Right Round the Clock. Right Round the Clock is a song where they reference the line, the dreams in which they sing the dreams in which I'm famous are the best I've ever had. So reference there, so it's kind of to that. Before the song As the Sun Sets, they play What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. Again, that song references that song, so it's just kind of cool. There's a point, like, obviously, this is quite good in the sense that it's the full show, assuming there was no encore, because there's no encore on this. But a lot of live albums cut the in-betweens a little bit. This is kind of the full, it seems like the full show from beginning to end kind of thing, which is kind of cool. There's a few like times where one of the band members plays the wrong note, and he's like, he shouts, it's F sharp or something. It's just twice, so I don't really know what's going on there. But and there's one point where one of them on the guitar starts playing Sunglasses by Black Country New Road, just a riff to that, so it was kind of cool. But other than that, there's not much value to be added onto the tracks. If you want to listen to them, listen to the album, really. You'll miss parts off listening to this live album. That being said, it's worth a listen if you're a fan. And I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 solely based on the fact that I like the songs.
How much did you pay for this, Liam?
Oh, took the words out of my mouth.
I was going to talk about this on Under the Needle, but I actually paid more than is probably reasonable for this.
Well, no, that's fine. You can talk about it later.
I mentioned it on the video, but I've got it on vinyl. And thankfully it came with the files on Bandcamp. It's not on streaming, so if you want it, you will have to seek it out. Or buy it, sorry. It's the right way to advertise that. But yeah, 3 out of 5. I would give the album a 5 out of 5, so that tells you how much how bad it was. It was kind of played to give it a 3 out of 5. But the 2 new songs are good. That's the best thing to take from it.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. Any questions? Have you listened to it?
Yep. I listened to bits. It's painfully obvious that Perfect is their best song by a country mile. In my
I agree it is, but I don't think it's by a country mile. They've got some very good songs.
It didn't really do it for me. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, listening to them live will not give you the. It is not going to give you the.
I didn't really enjoy the 925 on a whole, though. Really, did I? It was all right, but it didn't set my world alight.
Yeah, it's I'd like to hope that.
That's getting added to the bingo card. That is.
Being developed.
Didn't set my world alight. It's got you.
Yeah.
Yanni, did you listen to it?
I didn't, because it's not on any streaming things, and I ignore the chat as much as possible.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Yanni, what did you listen to this week? And I hope you listened to this one, because so far you've listened to absolutely fuck all.
Well, you'll be surprised to know that for the first time ever in our recordings, I haven't listened to the thing I was supposed to. No, obviously I've listened to this. It was Do Nothing and their EP Glueland. Now we've covered 2 of the tracks already on previous pods, which you should have already listened to our previous pods because they are fantastic. We're the best people in the world, obviously.
Grammy coming next year, best podcast.
Yes, indeed. Initially, I put that the only thing that bothered me this time when listening to it, well, obviously in full, I was able to listen to it this time. But yeah, the only thing that bothered me overall was his voice became slightly annoying. In brackets, I've done a massive favour for myself last night. I've said, do bad impression for the comedic value.
Please.
I don't know if I want to do that now. It's a bit like, that
was really good.
It's basically that.
That was really good. I recognise that from Morales.
Yeah.
I
I hope that made people giggle, because otherwise just made myself look like a right tit for no reason. I'm a tit. Suckling. So, opens up with Glueland. Yeah. Getting that so far? Catching on? Yeah? Okay.
I'm following.
Groovy. Still think the synth, and I think I mentioned this when we first listened to it, sounds like that Idols tune, Grounds.
Yeah.
Just because of the octave effect it has on it. I'd probably say that this is my favourite track off the EP, to be honest. That was already had. We've covered it before, so there's not really a lot more I can add to that. Sounds fine. Still, Uber Alles, funky bass line, which I would probably say is the best part of the track for me personally, is the bass. Not too memorable, apart from the one line about him saying it's just one big reach around. That's about it.
It's a good line.
The bass line and that line are probably the only memorable bits. Rolex is the third one. And the next couple of ones, the lyrics on Apple Music were very bizarre. If I would have saved them, it would have been better to demonstrate this. But
It would.
whoever typed them up clearly didn't give a shit, because like one of the lyrics, the sentences, which I know isn't what it is, but it's all just one word, all condensed.
Great.
They've not capitalized certain beginnings of lines, or stanzas. Would you call it? I don't know what you call it. I put
Stanzas
the second
of
half. Yeah, the second half was better, in my opinion. And it had some really 2011 to 2012 indie music vibes, I thought.
Are you still talking about Rolex? Sorry.
Yeah, Rolex.
Okay. Yeah, got that.
I didn't know what in particular. Maybe it was the drums. I don't know. I can't remember, but it just sounded like that kind of vibe. Knives, cool guitar riff, and interesting drumming. That's all I've put on that.
Great.
Wasn't really a lot more that I've found interesting about that. I think Rolex on Knives was one of the ones where his voice just really grated on me, doing too much of that thing that he does. And then ending off, there's not many songs in the EP. Great White Way, and I thought this one was the most musically interesting. Don't expect the type of changes that it does from each section. Keeps it very interesting throughout. Was a fan of the guitar sound in the chorus, which I think was just a guitarist effect on was a chorus effect on the guitar. But I like that because I'm a little indie boy, and all indie tunes seem to have that. I especially loved to have put on here. Wow, I'm infatuated with the vocals on the last few lines of the song. He actually sings more on those last lines, like proper gives it some. And I really wish that he'd utilise that aspect of his singing more, because clearly he's got a great voice, as is demonstrated from just those last seconds of that song. But most of it spent just sort of, in this lower frequency or mid frequency, sort of like stumbling to the next line, for lack of better words. So yeah, overall, it was quite good. I'd say it was pretty consistent, to be honest. There's not many places you can go wrong with an EP. You've not got much chance for an error. I'd probably rate this a... What?
Did you hear the Drake one last week?
I'm not counting that. I'd probably give this a 4 out of 5. But I would... Like I say, my main takeaway is that I really want him to properly sing more, if they are to do... Well, when they do, I presume. I'll just break up after this. I really want him to sing a lot more like he does on the last few seconds of Great White Way, because his voice is really good when it's doing that, but when it's not doing that, it's irritating as shit. So, Cal, I'll get to you first. I reckon you've got the least to say about it.
That's an assumption. That is correct. Glueland is one of my favourite tracks I've heard in a while. I really do like that song. Uber Alles, when that came out, I was pleasantly surprised because it felt like it was a little bit different. I don't really know why, because listening back, it's very much them. but I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know. It just felt a bit different. But other than that, nothing really stood out to me. I only had it on twice in the background. I didn't really, I didn't sit down and spend time with it. But nothing really jumped out at me. It all sounded quite similar. As you said, it's consistent, but I suppose when it's in the background and you're not actively listening to it, it kind of all molds into one. I did like it, but I don't know. I don't think anything's as good as previous tracks they've done, personally. So, but it was, it was good. Didn't offend me.
Hey, that's another one. Have you got a line yet?
No, I'm clean cut. Liam, talk.
I'm going to talk now. I actually didn't really like Glueland when it first came out. The very first time I heard it, I wasn't a big fan. But that is like very much a standout. This year now, actually, I really like the track. I think the same about Oh Brothers as you, Callum, really. I quite liked Rolex of the new ones. That was probably my favourite of the new ones. I agree with you, Yanni, that the end of Great White Way, his voice is really good then. For me, I don't know, this EP didn't really... It's a bit too samey, that, and it's all very different. It's quite interesting that it reminds me of...
That made no sense.
Sorry. I've got an itchy nose and it's really put me off.
Yeah,
they quite remind me of like jazz musicians in the sense that like the bass and the guitar don't seem to ever do the same thing. Like they noodle around a lot, and I really like that. It'd be interesting to see them live, because I wonder if the songs sound anything like the recorded versions, because surely they don't know everywhere they go. It seems to evolve so much through the songs. So in that sense it always seems fresh, and they are a very different band, but then within themselves this EP is very similar throughout. I went back and listened to their first EP, $0 Bill, which I've only given a go in full once, and wasn't a massive fan. I've always liked the songs LeBron James and New Life, but I never really paid much attention to the others. I listened to it in full earlier, and that EP is actually really good. Really, really good. The whole EP is really good. All the tracks are really good.
Really
and
good.
I prefer that. Really good. And I prefer that to this for sure. I prefer that older style. Just seems a bit more like I feel like listenable is a harsh word to say, but I do mean that. It feels more like less like abstract jazz and more like
accessible.
Yeah,
that's definitely the word you were looking for.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Listenable is
more accessible. But as a whole, I do like this EP. I just a little bit
didn't love it.
Yeah, disappointed maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Talking of EPs that we were all eagerly anticipating and have changed our life, the Horrors have released Lout.
They are a bunch of bloody horrors, aren't they?
I'm not really sure where to begin with this. So does someone want to take the reins?
It's noise. It's pure noise.
Oh, mate, I've just put just noise, and it's not enjoyable.
It's just noise. I don't know who's listening to this.
I'm going to counteract that a little bit, because I think Org and Whiplash had some aspects that were they were cool ideas, but they'd just been taken way too far, to the point where it became unlistenable.
Are you high?
No, I am clean cut. I have just told you.
There's only 2 lines in your life, and they're the lines of the cross. Are they? Did you listen to this in full then?
Yeah, I did. About probably 2 hours ago. Lout is just pure shit. There's no defending that one. But Org and Whiplash, I thought, there was, maybe it's because Lout is so bad that I was just like, oh, this isn't actually that bad. But I don't know. It just went too far, and it was,
The thing is, he's been eager to jump on board and switch to talking about just the regular releases now, that his timing on the Tom Odell thing is... it's difficult now, because we've got 5 minutes.
I've got something to say. It's not going to last 5 minutes, but we're pushing a bit further. Go on. Before you move on, Yanni. I listened to Still Life by Horrors.
Very, very different.
which is it's a very good song, to be fair. And
yeah,
I
it is.
understand why back in the day they were very well known, kind of loved by a lot of people. That's
Someone
the main thing.
reversing.
Just the sirens going off outside. But
Nicked it.
Jesus Christ, how did they go from that to this?
Drugs.
How on earth? I don't think that's
even
drugs.
from
I
their
feel like
last-
that's.
The last album they did is nowhere near this either. So
I'm
I
sure they
mean,
didn't. They go. You've mentioned they were quite shoegazy at a time. I'm sure they went like pure dream pop quite lately.
Yeah,
I feel like they're taking the piss.
yeah. Is this a joke,
I
Come on,
think
guys.
it's a joke.
guys? Of
Gotta
the
be a joke.
horrors, can you just inform
know.
us whether this
Let us
is a
know how you are,
joke?
please.
Email us at
Reach out to us.
fallsonthehill.podcast@outlook.com.
Lovely.
Yeah.
We mentioned before Tom Odell has released Monsters. Not to be dramatic, but I hope I never hear this song again.
That's definitely the best way you could have put it.
I'd like to just say it's clear he's talking about important matters in terms of his own mental health, and it's important to talk about stuff like that. However, I can't distract from the fact that the song is gash.
Wow. I mean, I see what you've done there because you want to cover all bases and not be, offensive. But then just to say that word to describe it afterwards, I think you've just totally dismantled
Yeah,
all the foundations you built up around it there.
Yeah, no one cares about the stuff you said beforehand, really.
I am going to just say the
Gash.
word shite, and I will place that over where I said gash. We can move
Yeah.
forward.
No, we like Gash. We like
No,
Gash.
we love a bit of gash.
No, seriously. I thought when this first started, I thought, okay, fine. I like his voice. He's got a good voice. It's piano based. Sounds like Tom Odell.
Well,
That
I'm sorry to
Motherfucker.
interrupt. His
Go
voice
on.
doesn't sound very good on this.
No, it doesn't at all.
It's
it sounded
It's
fine
not
at
good.
first. Well, no, until the chorus. Right. Okay. So starts
the
off.
pre-chorus. It
fine.
becomes ropey.
It's a bit when he starts going whatever the fuck he says in the chorus. I just really can't stand that.
All I can
What
hear
does
in
he
my
say?
head is it Monster by Eminem and Rihanna? That's all I can hear.
Monster. Oh god, I hate that so much. I hate that line. And it's definitely, I said before, it's a Lady Gaga song. I think it's from A Star Is Born. Maybe there's a song on that that's exactly this, and it really stresses me out. I
It
hate
just
that
seems-
chorus.
I don't know what the point of this album will be because I've not listened to the other one that we mentioned was also out. But it just sounded very lazy,
Mm.
as in one takes like, and he's just gone. Yeah, it also sounds like he's just copied and pasted, which is the easiest thing to do. But he's just copied and pasted the repeating segments instead of doing a new take because they both sound ropey in the same way in the pre-chorus that I'm on about now. I know you would do that for the chorus normally anyway, but it sounds like he's just not really put a lot of effort in.
Mm.
And there's a bit where it counts down in like the right hand side of your ear,
Fuck, man.
and like that's just too obtrusive. Is that?
It just doesn't. It really takes you out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're like, what the? Why is some guy just talking in my ear? Like it's really horrifically bad.
It's really bad.
Um,
I just
so
quickly.
yeah,
Sorry, I was just gonna say. I just quickly listened to Numb,
no need to apologise, mate.
which was the other one, and that sounds a bit more interesting. But I
No,
haven't
it doesn't.
listened to it.
It doesn't
No,
sound
okay.
a bit more interesting. It sounds like everything he's ever done with a bit of a synth background, and that's now
What was that?
experimental.
What was that song he did? Another Love.
That was a tune. I like
Yeah,
It was
that.
good.
Another Love
It's
is
a good
very
song.
good. There's another one off his second album. Are you on his Spotify?
I am.
Go on his second album.
This is
Oh.
real time, ladies and gents.
Second album. Yeah.
Go on, read them off.
No.
Yeah, it'll be one of the
You
first.
read
It'll be
them
one of the
all off?
first few.
Phew.
Okay, give a sec. Wrong crowd.
No,
Magnetized.
magnetized.
Okay,
That
oh,
was good. I had
Okay.
paralyzed in my head, so I knew it was something along those lines.
I'll
That
take
was
it
all
with
right, but this is just shite.
Well, we've finished talking about
Yeah.
that within the minute that you said earlier, Callum, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
44 minutes later.
Congratulations,
34
Cal. You win
33, was it?
timing of the year.
Time of the
Um,
year, congratulations.
ever so much.
If you are welcome. The next song, I don't know how this has been added on because it seems like a very random thing. The band or like person, I don't know who it is, Famous. The song is called Stars. I just want to say, possible contender for the worst artwork of
It's
2021.
awful, isn't it?
I can't even remember what it is. Let me have a look.
It's really awful.
Along-
It tells you something completely different to what it gives you.
Alongside what's that other one with what is it? It's so bad. That's gonna
Is it
fucking irritate.
the Fuzz one? That was
yes,
bad.
yes, I think it was that. That was what I had in mind. Yeah, horrific artwork and completely misleads you. Not that
Yep.
artwork has to sort of mean anything, but I mean, don't put you on a different path. Yeah, I don't know what else I had to say. Vocals
The
are
music?
sometimes loud, and then sometimes very buried in the
Mm,
mix.
yeah.
There's no consistency with it. I think there's like distortion on like the louder parts, like or distorted the guitar line or something or synth in the background that follows the same vocal line in the chorus or whatever it may be, and it just is a very bad production choice.
What about the song though, Yanni? What do you think about the song?
Didn't really do anything for me, mate. I feel like I've heard better versions of it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I wasn't 100% sold on the voice, but I thought it was all right. You know, it was good. But I particularly liked the added instrumentation in what I thought was the outro, but then vocals kind of came back in. It was kind of the outro, but that made it a bit more exciting for me. But yeah, it was all right.
I kind of liked it. I wasn't expecting again from the album art it to be anything like it was. It feels very like 2010. I'm thinking, the band just popped in my head. Was it Modest
Mumford &
Mouse or
Sons.
something?
Modest Mouse.
Modest Mouse maybe, or something around that time. I don't know.
Nowhere in the
I
way.
could
It
see-
looks like artwork for what's the one where Hello?
Diego
Numa, Numa, eh.
a teeny or something. like that.
Yes, it looks like that should be the song that it's
Yeah.
that's going to be playing, and it's not an album; it's a single. I
It's a
don't know if
single.
we've said album artwork about 10 times, but it's single artwork. Sorry.
But I quite liked the song, and it felt somewhat. What I mean by that, it felt somewhat nostalgic. I guess it reminded me of another time, but I can't really pinpoint when.
I reckon you were 10. The next track, and we've got a little bit of a fun thing that we've noticed about this one. It's Ed Cousins. Is that how you
Yeah.
pronounce it?
I don't assume
Yeah,
so.
I'd say.
On the Run. We've all noticed that it's an identical drum opening to that of Stuck on the Puzzle by Alex Turner
Happy
of
10th
the
birthday.
Arctic Monkeys.
Happy,
yeah.
happy birthday, Submarine.
Happy Birthday Submarine EP.
Film.
And the
Birthday
film.
today. 10th
But-
10th birthday.
You know,
Actually,
whatever.
today.
Ta-da! Yes, it pretty much ripped straight out of it. I quite enjoyed this.
Yep.
It didn't offend me. Um, I liked it, but I don't know if I'd put it on out of choice. Is what I've said. I wouldn't skip it, but it's not
I would-
something I think I'd actively go ahead and press play on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't skip it because I'd think it was Stuck on the Puzzle.
Yeah, and be bitterly disappointed when it's not
Yeah,
that.
no, I'd skip it.
Bitterly.
Well,
I'd listen to it long enough to give it a play.
the
Get a
album,
stream.
the album Fortune's Favor is coming out soon-ish. At some point, that's what soon means. And I did like this, like you two. I think we listened to Madeline. Was it Madeline we listened
Yeah.
to not long ago? And I don't
Mhm.
think it's as strong as that. But I think the album's shaping up to be quite strong. I think we'll all enjoy it.
Strong is the adjective Callum's run with on this occasion.
Strong. This is not
Weight
gash.
bearing.
Yeah. And here we are, 5 minutes late to Griff Reese. Grief.
Oh, was it Griff Reese we were timing
I
that?
think it was.
Was it?
I think it was Griff Reese.
I thought it was Mr. O'Dell.
And we were stalling on Tom O'Dell to try and get it at the right time.
All right, is that what you were doing? I was thinking,
Silly
then
boys.
they crack on.
Yeah.
We're now 6 minutes late. The edit might differ, so if you've been asked to count, get a life.
What is it, Cal, though? What is it?
It's a song called Your Loneliness.
How funny.
Why'd you do that?
I have only put one note to this, and I said I like it. I haven't heard much Super Furry Animals, so I don't know what to benchmark it from.
Cool
if I should
Cymru,
even
mate.
do that.
Cool Cymru. That's
Cool
what it is.
Cymru. But yeah, it was alright. I quite liked it. Had some good aspects. Went on a bit.
I've just put it sounds old
Yeah,
In a good way or a bad way?
agree with that.
in a way that it
In a
didn't.
non-disparaging way.
Well,
Oh,
it didn't bring anything new to the
table.
table. It just sounded like it was an old song,
Fairs.
but not a good
Forget
old
that.
song. Or maybe like if I don't know if it was released when I'm picturing it being released, or how it sounds like it should have been released, or when it should have been. I'm speaking a lot. Then I might have enjoyed it back then for the limitations that it seems like it's placed itself in. However, yeah, I feel like it was too basic. Yeah, that might be why I'm getting the sound old stuff. Liam, please take over, please.
yeah, I agree with that. I don't really have anything else to add to that. Next
Wow.
up, from the band Home Counties, we have the track White Shirt slash
Sorry,
Green Shirt.
my notes. I've also corrected this to white countries.
Yes. We're going to be talking now about white countries, of which there are too many. No, home counties. We live in a home county, do we? Home county is a
Durham.
thing? Durham.
I don't know why
Durham's a home
Durham's the
county, I
first one.
reckon. Yeah. White shirt, clean shirt. Your thoughts, Yanni?
Oof.
I very much like this.
Yeah,
Oh.
me too.
I like this a lot. I
Me too.
liked how manic the vocal delivery was. It kind of reminded me of Shame, but
Yep.
if his voice wasn't destroyed by what sounds like years of alcohol and fag abuse. Probably should have used the word cigarette. Let's cut
We
that
know what
word
you
out.
mean. We know what you mean.
Alcohol and
Northern.
cigarette abuse.
We're
So
Northern, it's alright.
yeah, did you get that comparison? Anyone else?
It sounded just like, it reminded me a lot of Water in the Well by Shame.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
get
if I
Yeah.
can only hear what, but when I've listened, when I've
You can
actually
only hear it.
compared them, they're not that similar. But there is something to the rhythm or something, especially with like the guitar and stuff, that reminds me a lot of Water in the Well. But I really liked it. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, grabbed me instantly. I remember I was playing it through my Xbox, and just turned to the left like a little meerkat. Just liked it. Just took me out of my zone. Loved it.
Thank you for that.
Callum,
wonderful
correct me
image.
if I'm wrong. This would be a good FIFA song.
Oh yeah.
Favorite FIFA
could
song?
just-
3, 2, 1.
Favorite FIFA song.
I'm not gonna tell
Veronica's
you
Untouched.
Boyfriend. I'm not going to teach your boyfriend how to
Veronica's.
answer you by
Yeah.
Kids.
Veronica's Untouched.
What was yours, Carl?
Veronica's Untouched.
Yeah. Okay. Same.
I'll say
And
it
then-
one more time.
I'm not gonna teach you
Mine
how
was,
to dance to your
I'm
boyfriend.
not going to teach your boyfriend how to dance with you by Black Kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although it was a remix, I think, on FIFA, I'm going to say 09.
It
maybe
wasn't.
10.
No, Hurricane Jane was a remix.
I'm sure
It-
I'm not
no,
going to teach your
it
boyfriend was a
wasn't.
remix.
Anyway,
Hurricane
to come back
Why can they not
onto-
both be remixes, Cal?
Because they
Confused
were.
Come on,
by
guys.
only Hurricane Jane.
Guys, we need
Because
to be
it wasn't.
more objective.
Go on, Liam. Say do your go on.
L'objectif.
Yes.
Liam did GCSE
Yeah.
French, if you don't know.
I did. I got an A. Thank you. L'objectif. And that song, Drive in Mind. What does l'objectif mean, boys? Do we know?
The objective.
The objective.
Yeah. Well done, guys. Well done.
Thanks.
Fantastic.
We didn't do GCSE French and clearly didn't need to.
But tell me about this song, though. Did you GCSE listen to this song? Oh, sorry.
Oh, you can't laugh at yourself that much.
I'm sorry.
That was very good.
That was good though, yeah.
I enjoyed that, Liam. Well done, Liam. We'll keep you around
Thank
for
you.
the next one. I've put it's some solid indie music.
Yeah.
The verses were probably my favourite part of the whole song. although I did like the heavy outro to the choruses. But yeah, verses were my favourite. Choruses were a bit meh, but I liked it all around. It was good. Solid.
Very solid. This is in a little. I'm going to give you a little teaser.
Say it.
I don't know if that's what I'm going to say.
Please.
But this was in a patch of songs we listened to that I really enjoyed. So it's kind of, now I'm looking back on it, it's kind of moulded into a few of them. But I remember really liking it at the time. I'd also like to say, if you haven't watched the video, there are times in the video where they're walking down a little ginnel or alleyway, depending on where you're from.
You say ginnel? Did you use that word?
I don't actually say the word ginnel.
You would say alleyway. Please tell me you say alleyway.
I'd say alley, yeah.
Oh,
Why did you say ginnel?
You've not just said the word.
Who are
ginnel.
you? Who's taught you ginnel?
Fuck off.
You and those bloody uni kids you hang around with.
Was that Karis?
Who was
Has
taught
Karis
you
taught you
ginnel?
the word ginnel?
No, I would say alley.
That
it's
is
just
not a
little
real
joke.
saying. I'm not having that.
I know, fuck off. That is a real saying.
Maybe on the anvil.
Um,
Don't have
And-
ginnels on the anvil, do you?
no, we don't. Too posh for that. It's on the nice side of real. It's by Prestatyn, don't you know?
Oh, sorry. Bloody ditch of road.
Dizzy Bends.
Get on with it.
I'm trying. Just watch how fast the lead singer walks. He's borderline running. He's on a mission.
People, you should know that Carl hates when he sees other people running. He really dislikes it. I don't
just
know.
found it funny.
We've talked to him about it before, but he just really dislikes.
Have you seen
people
that
running.
video on Twitter of there's 4 girls running on a treadmill?
That would be his worst nightmare.
Yeah, hate girls.
Hate treadmills. I wanted to tell you I really like this song too. And I've got a little interesting.
I don't
fact
care,
for you.
Liam. I don't give a shit.
I've got a very interesting fact about this band.
Oh, I bet you have.
They
They've got a
are
French
all
name.
17 or younger.
Oh, fuck off.
There you go. Take that. Enjoy
Take
that.
that. Liam
Next
used
track.
age. It was
Robbie
super
Williams.
effective. Critical hit. So, Regressive Left is the next one. Let's all calm down. Let's all
Can't be talking
pipe
about
down
the
a bit.
aggressive left and expect us to be calm, Yanni. Come on.
God's sake. I put
Bloody
in
Keith.
with a question mark. I'll leave this up to you. HMLTD much?
I don't know. I said I thought it was quite different, but
Vocally.
Vocally?
it's not very different, is it? I don't
No.
know. It's kind of, if it was released 5 years ago, I think it would have been different, but
Mhm.
you know, a lot of bands are doing it now. But I don't know, I liked it. Like I said, this is in amongst a plethora of songs I enjoyed from the week. So it's good.
Plethora.
Good. Yeah, I can't remember it for the life of me, but I really like it.
I quite liked it.
My God, this guy's running on video. Squid?
Danny, have
Anyone?
you talked about the song or? Oh. Why have you skipped
Yeah,
it?
I did. What are we on?
Sorry?
Regressive Left. Sorry. Are we apologising?
You have to apologise,
now?
mate.
What's going on? What's going on?
Sorry
Oh,
released 2 tracks.
It's all right, mate. You don't need to apologise.
Separate and Cigarette Packet, or also known as what, Yanni?
I don't know.
A pack of fags, obviously.
I'm assuming they cut that out.
It's
from the
allowed.
letter.
We're not
Northern,
cutting it
it's
out.
allowed.
It's fine.
Listen, it's
Okay.
not I don't mean it. I would never say it in that context.
No.
Liam is the most offensive out of all of us.
I'm
so-
very offensive, actually.
L'offensive.
To your mum. Hey, l'offensive. I love mum. So, to me, these 2 tracks, I know that Cigarette
so
Packet at least was from, I think, just like a short demo track that was on SoundCloud by Sorry at some point in the
It's
past.
alright.
Fuck off. I think Separate, I think I may have also seen Separate was as well. To me, these are very different
Do you?
to 9 to 5.
I'm enjoying
and-
myself too much. Someone,
They're
come
very
calm me down.
different
Calm
to
me
the
down.
album, and I think these will just be singles. I can't see these. I mentioned this earlier. I can't see these being on the album, given the 2
Deja Vu,
tracks that
anyone?
they played.
Okay, that was an echo in it.
They're both similar in style. Separate remind me a lot of Alex G. Just
Sandy.
Sandy Alex G. He's not that Sandy anymore. He's had a wash down. Hose in the back garden. And yeah, I kind of like both of them, but I don't love them. They're not what I want from Sorry, but they've got
It's all right.
cigarette.
God damn it, Liam. It's
I
fine.
fucking hate this joke. The cigarette packet is growing on me quite a bit, I guess.
He loves a good cigarette.
Yeah,
Does Liam.
tell me your thoughts, please.
I like cigarette packet a lot. I've saved it, so that shows you something, doesn't it? Separate. Can't remember it really. I
Sounds like
don't
Sandy
think.
likes you.
Oh yeah. No, I can't remember it at all. I don't think I liked it as much as cigarette packet. But I did enjoy cigarette packet for the umpteenth time quite a lot.
Yeah.
I believe. Again, I'm sort of like you, Cal. They're all sort of blended into one at this point.
Yeah, well, saying that, these are two of my favourite Sorry tunes by quite some distance. Obviously behind Perfect, because that is a very good song.
Yep.
I prefer Cigarette Packet out of the two, as both of you do, but Separate is also very enjoyable to me. I've had Cigarette Packet in my head all day, partly because I've probably listened to it about 10 times, but I don't know, really like it, and I wish this was a direction they'd go in, but as Liam has very sadly said, they won't.
He doesn't know that.
He doesn't know it.
know
No, he
that.
doesn't.
I'm just saying it doesn't seem,
He
given
doesn't know
the
nothing.
tracks on the live album, they sound
Liam.
like 95.
Liam, you don't know nothing.
The one thing
Alright.
about Cigarette Packet, I wish that it was all very, the music was all very
Good.
dark, minor, I guess, in terms of key. And I wish there was something that kind of picked it up a little bit, because it's kind of the same through most of it. I just wish there was
That's the
something
same with
else.
both the songs. They're both very repetitive, but I don't know, they do enough to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
For my personal
I'll tell you what
taste.
doesn't
great
do
voice.
enough to keep it interesting. The next song, Paddling by the band Squid.
Well, I'll tell you where you've gone wrong, Johannes.
Mm-hmm.
You should have
Is it
listened.
by
the chat.
trusting you?
You should have read the chat and listened to the edit, because the edit is tip top.
So much better, so condensed.
okay.
It's
So
so much better.
good.
Right, yeah, because
I really didn't like the full version.
I don't know how long it takes to get into it, but it was far too fucking long.
Yeah.
So my opinion of this is blurred by the fact that I've only heard the long version. So you guys, you can talk, right?
I think so. Same with Narrator, the song that they released first for the album, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They also
Yep.
released an edit for that. I haven't actually heard the edit for that because I really enjoyed the 8-minute version of Narrator.
It's
But
better,
yeah,
obviously.
very good. But this, when Liam told me there was an edit, I was very happy because I didn't manage to actually finish the full version of the song. And I can tell you, for one, I bloody love it. Love it a lot. I really wish that the edit was the actual release.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really wish that they would release an edit version of the album, because I would
Yes.
like to buy it, but I don't want to buy it if
Mhm.
I'm going to have to listen to that.
I really hope these, and this has happened in the past where the single version is longer and the album version's shorter. So I hope they do that as opposed to make the album all
Yeah.
long
No, mate.
versions.
But
The-
I'm definitely
I
not
know.
going to pre-order it. Go on.
The album version is the one I listened to, and that is the long one.
Yeah, but whether or not they actually have that on the actual album. I know what
Oh, you
Liam's
said on
saying.
Apple Music, the one that is on the
Yeah.
album. Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's shit then.
Is that definitely true? Does that always stay the
Yes.
same though? Oh,
I
that's
mean, I've
unfortunate.
not ever seen it change.
Fair enough.
And it does refer to as edits as well, where if they were to do it the other way around, it probably would have been single version was the long one.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I think it's going to be the full one. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, not great. But I
good
thought there
news.
was a lot of Talking Heads elements.
Okay.
With a
I
bit of-
haven't
bit
seen
of-
many Talking Heads in my life.
You're looking at two.
Oh, what? I prefer Narrator.
Yeah, I prefer
Massively.
Narrator. Yeah, definitely.
Narrator is one of the best songs this year so far for me. Apart from the bit where it goes mental towards the end, which is why the edit's good, because that's condensed quite a lot. Yeah, for this one, it starts off very King Gizzard, is what I got
Mm.
from it.
Yes.
And I didn't really like that part, where like each time it took like an extra bar to get to it, which I thought was an interesting thing, and the timing was a bit weird. But I didn't really love that part, but then the second half was pretty good. I'm looking forward to the album, but I do wish it was the shorter versions, because the album's going to drag, I think.
Definitely.
I've just listened to the edit, and yeah,
Much better.
Why,
Straight-
why isn't that
straight
just
into
the version?
Yeah.
I mean, if they were gonna do what they've done on the album, I reckon it would have been all right to do that as like a live thing.
Yeah.
You know, like transitioning between songs. But on an album, yeah, it makes you feel like it's just gonna fucking drag, doesn't it? Especially with there's an echo, isn't there, narrator? So the next
The thing
one.
just before, the thing with the beginning of the full version of Paddling is that nothing really happens in that
Exactly.
beginning part. So
Yeah.
it really does seem pointless, like just a waste of space.
Yep.
Talking not of waste of space, because the next one. Ooh.
Would you?
Laura. Sorry,
What?
what did you say?
I didn't mean to say would you, but
Laura Mavula and her track Church Girl. This is a bop. This is a
Bop.
good tune.
Proper groovy.
do you reckon?
Proper groovy.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't think it's like one of the best songs I've ever heard, but it just kind of it goes. It's nice.
Sunny day tune in it. Have a
Yeah.
iced coffee outside.
There's,
I didn't expect it from what I thought of
Yeah,
Laura
normally.
Mavula to be.
Yeah. All I remember from Laura is Green Garden, and that was released time ago, and that
Mm.
is extremely different. And I do like that song a lot. This one, as with a lot of more recent pop, it's very 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredibly 80s. Yeah, I quite liked it. I was just
Playing devil's
Trying to
advocate.
yeah, for the sake of it. Yeah, I very much enjoyed it too, and so will you if you listen to it. You know who I'm talking to.
It's just fun, isn't it?
It's just so much fun, Liam. Why don't you tell us about the next one?
Novelo free. Or I'm going to say novel
Wow.
with a 0 and a 3 instead of the O and the E. Very, very indie. Then you track Group Disease.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's alright.
I put again sounded very 80s, but indie 80s, not pop 80s. I think that's more the guitar tones that were used
Mm-hmm.
and
get
the
that.
lines of the riffs that were used. I put cool bass line.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but that's all I have to say, Mr. Godfrey.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would be interested to hear more from them. It definitely didn't put me off. It didn't set my world alight. But yeah, good
House.
bass line, good guitar sounds. My house or my bed didn't set any light. This had elements that reminded me a bit of Talking Heads, but my Talking Heads knowledge is very limited. So
I don't
I'm
remember.
probably wrong.
I don't remember the song really, so I can't confirm or deny.
Well, you need to work on your memory, I'd say.
Oh,
And
definitely.
while you're there,
Definitely.
while you're there, Callum, cheer up, baby.
Oh,
Hey.
lovely.
Hey. And our next song is by a band called Inhaler.
Into the
It's called
segue.
Cheer Up,
Out of the
Baby.
segue. I'll go.
Oh, please.
Yeah, just fuck off, will you?
I like
you miserable
this.
twat.
I like this tune. How have I been miserable? You can fuck off. You sounded like you wanted to jump off a cliff on that one. Christ.
When?
Like that one, talking about that last one.
Hey,
I get
hey,
a bit
hey,
of talking
hey,
heads
hey,
in this
come
song.
on.
TL.
Come on.
Bloody hell.
Calm it now, lads. Calm it.
I really like this
Go
tune.
on.
I think it's probably one of the weakest.
Did I ask?
Yeah, fuck off.
God's sake.
I think it's probably one of the weakest out of the ones they've released for the album. I mentioned to Liam yesterday to listen to When It Breaks. I think Yanni, you've listened to them a bit, haven't you?
I didn't listen to it.
Yeah, I've really like Honest Faced. I really like that song. a
Yeah,
lot.
well, they're releasing for the album that and It Won't Always Be Like This. They're having new versions, so I'm a bit skeptical because
Yeah, I hope it doesn't change at
Yeah,
all.
don't
Even
really
though
no, the
I
need.
don't know why they wouldn't already put it on there if it wasn't changing. But who
Yeah.
knows?
I think it's a good song though. Good chorus. Don't really understand the words. Don't really make sense. It's something like
Alright.
"All you do, cheer up, baby." Doesn't make sense, but there we are. I liked it, and I've pre-ordered the album, and
Mm.
hopefully we'll see them live at some point.
Mm.
Good stuff.
Well, funny you should say that because me and Liam have seen them in real life.
Have you?
Yep, they were at our sports team gig with Annie
Oh yeah, you did say.
Gallagher. She was hanging out
What?
with them
How do you know this?
because I was there.
Well, I don't remember.
That's a stupid question.
Well, she was with these guys. How do you know that?
Because he knows what they look like.
Who Inhaler are?
Yeah, but we both discussed the fact that was Noel Gallagher's daughter, we didn't mention the fact that it was Bono's son. So, are you
Yeah.
sure you recognise? Are you sure that you knew them at the gig
Yes.
at the time?
Yes. 100%.
Why did you fail to mention to me that was Bono's son?
Well, because in Hader, really, are they a band that you would like?
No, but I know Bono. I don't like a way.
No,
to
you
say
You
it.
know Bono.
Well, if you know Bono, how the fuck do you not know it's his son?
Are you? Did you really at the time recognise that was
you
the
can't get
band
his head
in
around
Hader?
it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I did know they existed as a band.
And you knew that was Bono's son, and failed to mention to me that Bono's son was sat mere meters away.
Are you in love with Bono? What's going on?
No, well,
Well-
it's just mental.
Well,
we both discussed. Oh God, that's Noel Gallagher's daughter.
Yeah, but I find that more.
Yeah, but
like
would you
something
not
you're
go?
interested
Oh,
into.
and as well as that, it's fucking Bono's son. No, you just thought we'll just stick with that one.
I feel like
Weird.
at this
I'm
point
not happy about
now,
that.
with all this barrage of hate, quite frankly, I feel like I would have mentioned that she was with the band in Halo at the time.
I'm
Whether I
almost-
wouldn't have explicitly said, "Oh, that's Bono's son."
Maybe you mentioned that was band and Halo, but why you wouldn't follow that? You've got to understand. Why would you not follow that with that is Bono's
Well, because
child?
he
follows.
probably doesn't want that to be the only thing.
I'm sure
he's
she
known
doesn't.
for.
But we fully we didn't discuss that. That's weird. But we definitely mentioned that.
right, I'm
You
bored.
discussed it in
And
thorough
because-
detail.
Oh no, I'm just unhappy.
We have found everything we are looking for in this segment, unlike Bono.
No, I've not actually given my opinion on this.
Ah, fuck off. That was a
Mm.
good
I've
segue.
said-
Jesus Christ, neither have I,
I've
actually.
put average, but they can do a lot better.
Yeah, I would say average, and I don't know if they can do a lot better.
They can.
Listen to When
There
It
we go.
Breaks, a
I
Smile on His
believe it.
Face.
Listen to Honest Face,
Maybe.
mate.
Well, my segue
Oh.
was ruined. That's everything from hot off the press. Join us in the mystical land of the album Spotlight in 3, 2, 1.
It's a classic.
10 years? 10? We're here again. We're here again, boys and baby gentlemen. We are here to discuss on around its 10th birthday. 10th birthday. The Vaccines' debut album.
Debut.
What do you expect from the Vaccines? And what do you expect from the Vaccines, boys? Tell me.
I expect that we'll be talking about it as our album Spotlight this very second. That's what I expect from
That
it.
is powerful.
I
You know what?
expect to be able to go outside again after we've all had 2.
What?
The vaccine.
Yeah.
Vaccines.
I've had
Wow.
one. I've had
Okay.
one, so I'm almost there.
You are.
He's almost fully chipped. That's a joke. Please get your vaccine. I can't stress that enough. If you want to see guidance on the vaccine, just look at our story. For some reason, it
As I mentioned
wants
the
to do
vaccines, there will be an NHS link there. So.
It's
or,
alright, Liam,
or
don't
speak to your
apologise.
local GP.
So, released March 11th, 2011, if you've not guessed by the 10-year thing that we kept on repeating. Produced by Dan Margaret, if I pronounced that right. Apologies if I haven't. Who has also worked with Liam Gallagher, Lana Del Rey, Keane, The Kooks, Scissor Sisters,
Huh?
and other bands.
all my favourite artists.
Now, this one, I think for all of us, which is why we picked it for obvious reasons, holds a very special place in our hearts, doesn't it?
That it does. That it does.
Tell me what this means to you, Callum. What does this album represent to you?
This album represents being in our high school where we all went together. Wesley Jones Catholic High School, which
That's
is no
Big up.
more.
It's not.
wow.
It,
No.
Very weird.
it is no more. This reminds me of having various man bags or satchels, as
Yes.
Satchels. Yeah,
Satchels,
Um,
yeah.
with
did.
The Enemy in my bag,
of course.
watching Liam eat cold pasta king and various rulers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to
Nope.
Do you want to explain your cold pasta rule, to everyone?
The cold pasta rule, absolutely. So,
Not the rulers.
the rulers.
There's
I
no
rulers.
explaining that.
You don't need to know anymore about that.
And broke
Pasta King.
calculators with his fist.
The punch calculators.
Oh, I've got another story as well after the pasta.
I didn't think this is where this is going to go, but we'll carry on.
We're here now.
So our school had Pasta King, which is great facility to have. I wish there was a Pasta King in my home. Oh wait, it's me. So they would offer you various sauces, different on each day, with pasta, and the pasta was ready cooked. And what they would do is they would just kind of drop it in warm water to warm it up, put it in a tub, in a whatever you call that, a
Cup.
a vehicle, and then they would add the sauce on top. The best one was probably like one of the spicy ones. They're quite nice. But the problem with that is when they pulled it out of the water, they didn't really care, and they kind of just throw it in the pot. The pot, there we go. And there would often be water at the bottom. I didn't really like that. I was not a fan of that water. I didn't like that watered down pasta life.
No,
So one day I asked-
is not good.
I asked for it to be not warmed up, and they looked at me like I had 6 heads. No, please, I just don't like the water. Can I just take it cold? We got the sauce on top, a bit of cheese, always a bit of cheese. Mix that all together. The sauce was warm enough to heat the pasta up. So what was the need? It wasn't wet anymore. It wasn't soggy. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. The pasta was still soft because it had already been cooked. It was the life to live. Thank you for listening.
And if you haven't gathered already, that is a man who is very proud of a pasta technique that
I
he
perfected on a
claims
14.
he's perfected.
No, I
So
have.
yeah, what was the calculator story? Because I really want to know this.
Oh,
now.
it's not a calculator story,
Calculator.
but you talking about the calculators really made me
Okay.
remember something. So in our school, we had, I presume, like many schools, we had the football / tennis courts, and then behind that we had a field, and our friend Lewis Jenner, a very good friend of the podcast, very good friend of our
Hi,
lives.
Lewis.
We love Lewis. I went onto the backfield one day, and I just saw Lewis and Liam lobbing Liam's phone as physically far as they could. Now, this was a light blue BlackBerry Curve, I want to say. Very rare, very niche, very indestructible.
Extremely indestructible.
My God.
I remember you coming back one day. We were all coming back from PE one day, and you know the fences for where like the football area was outside the science block, and then there's like that small pathway, and then there's like that random building which has got like all the electrical shit in. That had a basketball hoop on. Down that little pathway, Liam was just like walking down that field, kicking something. Later came to realise that was his BlackBerry. That it was just booting down that field. Still worked, probably.
Always worked. No, it was absolutely indestructible. I also chewed, because I had a removable back, I chewed the edges of
Was
that
it
as much
plastic
as I
as
possibly
well?
could. It was
You
plastic, yeah.
fucking love
The
plastic.
thing about
don't you?
chewing plastic, I chewed the edges of that as much as possible. That foam was a beast. I wish I still had it. I don't know where it is, but it was beautiful as well. Nice light blue. The vaccines. To the
Is that what we're doing?
vaccine.
Yeah, forgot.
Unless you want me to talk about rulers or calculators.
No,
I
no.
will.
No, what
any
does this
kind of
album
mathematical apparatus.
mean to you, Liam? Because you've not told us, and we're all dying to hear.
This takes me back to the same time as Callum was kind of talking about there. It reminds me of Chino's going to Chester Top Man. It being on in Chester Top Man every time you go in. Yeah, it reminds me very kind of specific time, kind of discovering the world, I guess.
Tom's espadrilles.
Yeah, they got all espadrilles. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Freedom, it reminds
Yanni,
me
what
of.
does it mean to you?
It means
Freedom.
Yeah.
Before I'll get to the point. Before Sports Team released their debut album, from just very briefly thinking about it, I feel like this is the last time I very much enjoyed a debut album.
Oh, okay.
Like fully.
Okay.
There's probably other ones that I'm gonna kick myself about later.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember distinctly liking everything off this. It's a very short album, isn't it, ladies and gents?
It is.
Very short.
Very short.
Very
36
quick pace.
minutes long.
Perfect.
13 songs, is there? Is that right?
12.
12. I'm surprised
So-
it's that long then, to be honest.
We are going to go through it bit by bit, I suppose. Probably
One.
not in as much detail because, as with the Arctic Monkeys one, we don't know the ins and outs as much. However, I'm sure we've got plenty of little stories and tidbits that we can describe to you.
Liam and
So
I
opens
want to
with-
watch Drag Race as well. It's the final.
Yeah, we do.
Avoiding
What
my
one's that
phone
on?
like plague. It's already been out. People will be
Okay.
finishing it.
Well, Okay, Wrecking Bar,
Rah, rah,
rah rah
rah.
rah. Opener. What are your thoughts as an opener to an album?
It's good, isn't it?
Just gets going, doesn't it?
Oh,
You're in there, aren't you?
you well and truly
Straight.
are in there.
I didn't like this, so I mean, I'll talk more later about how I first discovered this album. But when I first heard this song, I wasn't a big fan of it, really.
Well, not to throw you under the
Um,
bus, Liam, but I remember that you
please.
weren't really that big a fan of this album. You can't. Definitely at the start, but from my perspective, it seemed that you got into the Vaccines from Come of Age, second album, and then went back.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I very much enjoyed Come of Age when that came out instantly. I guess with this album, I didn't discover this probably until Come of Age, or at least just before. So there were some that I liked, and overall I wasn't a huge fan. And then Come of Age came out, and I loved that straight away. Very different album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know that Wrecking Bar was one that when I first heard it, I was like, oh, great. There was some, I guess we'll get to them, but there were some that I was like, this song's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's made me eventually go back and listen to the full thing a lot more.
Well,
What do you
It,
think, Jan? Sorry.
so I just want
I
to
don't
do
wanna hear Yanni.
a quick. It's not to you. I want to do a quick overview of some of the things that I remember. And we're not going to go back on this any further than this point, but I watched a Fantano review of it, and I think I remember him saying like, "There's too much reverb on everything." Now, I would agree that there is a lot of reverb on the majority of this album. However, it very much is the style, and I think without it, it would sound too bare. Like there's not enough there going on. I reckon Barbara, yeah, like I said, great opener, really sets the tone for the whole album because the majority of the songs are very short. It's good. I like it. If you wanna, this one I've got a bit more to say about it. I distinctly remember playing this in your little shed, Liam, back at your home in Rill. Not your home, obviously. Your mum's.
It's not on
Home of mine. That we spent, I don't know, a majority of a year destroying, tearing out bird cages that your dad had
we
assembled. And then when you left for Australia, that fateful
For 3
5
weeks.
months.
I'd stop
Um,
crying.
6 months.
I remember playing this with, and I'm sorry if you.
No,
this
you
is how you-
didn't. Please don't tell me.
I did.
This song.
Yeah. No, I don't play this for you. I played it with Gaz, Ethan, and
In memory of me.
no, absolutely
Okay.
not. I'd gotten over you by the hour. that
In
you
the
left.
shed, though, is this what you're
Yeah,
saying? Sorry.
in the shed. Yeah. Played this with
Without-
Gaz, Ethan, and oh my god, I can't believe I've completely forgotten his name.
Is it Ryan?
Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, Ryan.
He won't be
Yeah,
listening. It's
I
fine.
remember- No, I remember playing this a lot because it's very simple. As a lot of the tracks on this are, they're very just straightforward, almost punk. Well, I'd say they're probably punky. Speed
And when you were playing
wise.
the song about if you want to come back, it's all right, you were definitely thinking of me.
To be
on
honest,
the
I
side,
hadn't put that together.
Well, it's very obvious. It's painfully obvious now, Yanni.
No, I think
to be
what's
honest.
painfully obvious is your lack of understanding.
Oh fuck.
Beautiful.
But
Well.
before we move on to that, has anyone got any valid points about if you want to or not?
It just reminds me of MTV Rocks.
Mm.
I said a lot about
Wow, yeah.
yeah, a lot about that on whatever people say I am when we spoke about that. But yeah, I'd say it just reminds me of being young and not having
This-
back
yeah.
pain.
And
this
the
whole-
enemy.
This whole
So-
album reminds me of the summer.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just being sweaty and not having a care in the world,
Mm.
and heat, sunlight,
Definitely.
hope.
Definitely.
Definitely. It definitely reminds me of like the days of reading Enemy. And I feel like this song, again, was just on in Top Man all the time. I like venturing into Hollister and stuff like that. I don't know, that's that time for me. In the summer.
Speaking of which, what we mentioned previously, a lack of understanding. This is where it kind of slows down. Not in a bad way, but it's like a lean back in your chair moment, I suppose. It's, I don't know how to describe this. I like the change of pace. It's needed because the first two songs are very fast and come at you very quickly.
Definitely.
It's, how would you describe it, guys? Because I'm struggling.
I think I'd personally describe it as my favourite off the record.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like the lyrics. I think, I mean, I'm not going to say that when I was, however old I was, 13, that I was like, you know, going out and meeting girls, because believe it or not, I wasn't. But you know what I mean? Like the line, the line, should I shake your hand or should I give you a kiss, just encapsulates teen angst for me. And it just kind of reminds me of...
You must have had that on your Facebook bio at some point.
Almost certainly. How I didn't have a Tumblr page is beyond me. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I know nostalgia will play a massive part in this, and it's hard to remove yourself from that when you're actually trying to review an album. But it just reminds me of that. And even though it is a slower song and it seems quite somber and quite sad, it still reminds me of happiness and sun. Yes.
Yeah.
Same with,
I think it's just that
Wetsuit, which I know we will talk about more, but the whole album good vibes, man. Good vibes.
It is good vibes.
I think it's the nostalgia thing that makes you look past the kind of the actual content of the song and makes it feel happy.
Yeah,
but like
maybe.
the chorus of this song for me is like just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just it is beautiful.
I would absolutely
really takes you to a place.
If I got to pick right now one gig to go to in the sunshine, them playing this album from back to front to back, not back to front, that'd be weird. Would definitely be a contender for me. If I was with like all my mates in the sun getting pissed, this would definitely be up there for me.
I agree. We'll do it in summer.
We'll get on the phone.
We'll
Justin,
sort that out.
give us a ring, Justin.
We'll get them round. Yeah.
Yanni, have you spoken? Yeah, you told us not to speak about that. You deflected this situation.
I couldn't think of the words.
Blow it up.
Blow it up. What a very strange opening to a song. However, this is probably that's my second favourite track off the album. I think it's on. Oh, it is. I know it's on because I've watched the whole series recently. It's on an episode of New Girl, and I recently rewatched the whole of the series, and my God, it makes me love this song so much.
That's one of the next series I want to run through. Yan, New Girl.
Have you never seen it?
I've seen a lot of it, but not the whole thing.
Oh mate, what are you doing?
I know. Zoe Deschanel as well. Oh.
Exactly. She's in it. I really like this song. It's hard to hear more on that because there's not really much more I can say apart from it's one that has a very peculiar opening. I think that's the most different thing about it. But yeah, Liam.
I'm just listening back to it, and it reminds me of another song, and I can't place it at all. It really reminds me of another song. But again, this was another one that I didn't pay attention to when I listened to this album for the first time. But I really like it. It's very simple in terms of a structure and stuff. Like the chorus is basically the same riff, isn't it? But it just works really well. I think the way he sings is really like his vocals are really good on this track.
Yeah, they go a bit like crazy at the end.
Yeah.
It's good. And then we get on to the more, unless Cal's got anything to say. We get on to the more somber, I suppose.
Yeah.
The most ballady song on the album, I suppose, maybe.
Yeah.
Wetsuit. This reminds me of festivals.
Yeah.
Even though I've never been to one.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of a festival.
Definitely. This reminds me of putting your arm around someone, you have no idea who they are, but for that 4 minutes, 5 minutes, however long the song is,
Yeah.
they're your best mate.
Yeah.
That's how it feels.
Absolutely. I get that feeling. This was one for me that after the first few songs that I really liked, and I tried it in full, and then I kind of almost rediscovered this one. Does that make sense? But I discovered it for the first time, but afterwards, and like it just blew my mind. I absolutely loved like everything about it, the sentiment of it. The song itself is just incredible. Possibly one of two of my favourite songs from this album for sure.
Wow.
Normally, when we talk about albums, I always favour the heavier ones and the ones that have more oomph. But I think it's the other way around for this album.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Potentially.
Um,
Until maybe this next one.
Yeah, which is
Straight back out the blocks.
a very much the juxtaposition of there you go, Full House now. Of that previous song. That is Norgard. I think this is the first song No, it can't have been the first song because this was the last single released. Maybe Post Breakup Sex was the first one, which is I remember hearing and then discovering the album. Anyway, Norgard, incredibly quick song. Doesn't feel like it's only 1 minute 38. It feels like it maybe is 2 minutes 38, but it's not. You silly billies.
It's very quick.
I remember learning this on guitar when I first. No, it can't have been when I was first learning guitar. But I remember learning it and it just being piss easy. That's why I decided to learn it.
Chords, isn't it?
What are the chords?
I said 4 chords in it.
Yes. Thank God that's what you said because I don't know off the top of my head. But I remember the video for this. I feel like I remember seeing this a lot.
Yeah. The
this
video is very much like an Enemy cover shoot.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
This song's great.
It is great.
This along with Wetsuit are my two favourite songs in this album.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Just there's so much energy and it just feels like it's just a good song. The lyrics are good. It's just great.
It is great. Do you know what else is great?
Post breakup sex.
Can't relate.
No.
That help you forget your eggs.
You don't want to forget your eggs, do you?
Never.
That's not
No,
good.
you don't. I remember having this on. I was one of those saddos that whenever I was on, given car rides, I'd put headphones in and look out the window, pretend to be sad.
Oh.
But not.
I still do that
sort of
now.
Like, yeah, but I remember like distinctly having this on for one of those drives, and yeah, I just remember that specific drive.
Where are we going?
I was going to my Yaya's house, which is my Greek grandma. Everyone,
He's
I'm
Greek.
Greek, by the way,
And he's
I'm
colourblind.
He is colourblind, yeah. No, he is.
I
That is
do
true.
feel like this was the first song I remember hearing from the vaccines. Again, this is one of those ones where you've almost definitely heard it.
Yep.
I feel like, along with Norgard, I feel like you've definitely heard this song at some point in Top Man.
Definitely. Or read about it in The Enemy.
Yes.
I definitely had at one point I had loads of Enemy covers on my wall and like pages ripped out and I had them stuck on the wall. And there was definitely a front cover of The Enemy with the vaccines on that was up there. Probably, I think, referencing this song on the front, but this was definitely the first vaccine song I heard. And it just seemed absurd to me, just the context.
Bit
of the song.
naughty.
As like a
Sex.
young teenager, I
Yes,
guess.
head around it.
Bloody hell, I'm listening to this naughty song. But I really think it's great. I was saying to you before, Yanni, that I actually thought my memory of this album, this was right near the top of the list,
Yeah.
and so was Norgard. I genuinely thought it went Wrecking Bar If You Want It, and then Norgard and post breakup sex. So it seemed weird listening back to me that they were both kind of middle of the album and both after Wetsuit, which also seemed a
Wetsuit
lot later on.
comes very early on when you're listening to this from top to bottom. It
doesn't seem like it's in the right place.
No, it's very odd, but because the album's so short and the songs aren't massively long anyway, it also doesn't seem like it's too odd.
No.
but just I think, like you say, with just recalling it from memory. God, I'm making more syllables now. Memory. It's it seems like it should be later or earlier. What are we on about? Under Your Thumb. This is one that I don't often think about, but whenever it's on, I fucking love it. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Very good. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I'm quite surprised, looking back, that it wasn't a single, because although the album is littered with loads of singles, like, this would be a very strong single for someone's debut album. But it's just kind of lost in it, which obviously is great for how good the album is, but quite sad for the actual song in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like a waste of the song almost.
Kind of, yeah. But it's just, I feel like we're repeating ourselves, but it's just a great song, isn't it?
We picked this album because we know we'd like it a lot.
Go and listen to it.
Now we move on to my favourite part of the album, because it is
Swim Deep.
my favourite song. It's All in White.
Yeah.
This is I remember the first time hearing this and thinking, this isn't the Vaccines, because it is very different. In my opinion, lyrically, I said it very fast though, so it probably didn't sound like that. The lyrical content of this is very strange. If I remember correctly, it's quite religious. If I can correctly recall, but I love this song so much. Without sounding wet, holds a very special place in my heart. Holds a very special plate, and then smashes it because it's Greek.
I'm colourblind.
It's a great plate. Yes, I love this song. It's one of the first records I bought.
The single, you mean?
Yeah, the single of this is one of the first records I remember buying.
I remember you buying that.
Yeah, Humbug was the first vinyl I bought, and then I think this was like second or third or something like that. It was very near to that. But yeah, I don't really know how to put it into words how much I really do love the song so much.
The bass line is just, it makes my tummy go a bit, you know what I mean? Gives me that feels. I think this was actually probably the first song I learned on bass. Probably not all the way through, but
it feels very big.
Yeah, anthemic.
Yes, is the word I'm looking for. That is the word.
I am here with all these vocabulary fillers today.
Carl, dictionary.
Yeah. Liam, do you have anything to say on this, mate?
This was one that was later discovered for me. After, I think, listening to Swim Deep's song King City, which he uses as a bass line exactly the same, but half a step higher, I think.
I also is missing a note on the end, I believe. Or adds a note.
No,
it does.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, I think the same. I think the bass in this song sounds very anthemic, and the lyrics are weird, but I don't know, it's just a good song.
Did you play bass at this point, Liam?
I did, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
When I discovered this song, because I think I went to play them separately or something, and then found out they were the same.
Yeah,
I remember
Go on, sorry, I did. Mine's not important.
No, you're right. Yeah. I remember me, Liam, and Cameron. By this point, you've been kicked out, Cal.
Yeah.
Playing this.
Cameron is soon to be a father. Good luck to him. Love from the fools.
What a fool he is.
And to Nicola. Good luck.
They're ready,
much love.
Yeah. I remember us playing this.
In your bedroom?
Yes, in my bedroom.
And King City.
And King City, right after each other. We were DJs. Next
There's no
song.
missing note, by the way.
Sorry?
There is no missing note. You did make that up.
No, there's one other.
They're both 4 notes. Unless it changes, like, just on like the pre-chorus or something. The main bass line's the same.
Okay, whatever. The next song,
Just to
Wolfpack,
clarify.
is again another one like Under Your Thumb that I think gets overlooked, unfortunately. Because again, I very much like this. I like the guitar in this. It's very good. Come on.
Yeah, I was thinking that throughout this whole thing, I'm looking at the track list right now. I was thinking this is probably the weakest one, but it's not, is it? It's just
No.
not. It's so good. Really is good. Really.
I really
um,
drop off at this point.
Wow.
In that I don't think I've ever listened this far into the album, for whatever reason, until like just doing it for this. I guess when I say I revisited it at some point, I've never been very good at listening to like the last 2 songs on an album anyway. And for this, I guess I'm not familiar with Wolfpack onwards. Sorry.
Wow.
So, for me, Family Friend is next, but it's blurred out for some reason. I can't listen to it.
Oh.
So I can't remember how it goes.
It's well, you want to get young, but you're just getting older.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That's another, like, wetsuit, isn't it?
Yeah, see,
Almost.
I didn't know Somebody Else's Child was there until a few years ago. I probably would have thought, why have I ripped this CD and the last one's 8 minutes? What a waste of memory. So I don't actually think I heard Somebody Else's Child until probably a year or so ago. But I don't think Somebody Else's Child is needed because I think Family Friend is a
No.
great ender. Don't know why you're trying to get
Yeah.
involved on this, Liam. You don't know the song.
I've listened to it today, so I can at least agree on that.
I think, I do feel like that is, the anthemic.
It's we might cover this, I don't know. Youth, Young Manhood, Kings of Leon's debut album, Holy Roller Novocaine, the last song.
Yeah.
But I think on the OG version, if you leave it like, I don't know, 8 minutes or something daft, it starts playing Talahina Sky at the end. It's one of those things, but I think it goes straight into it instead of like leaving a gap, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or something. But yeah, it could be, I see what you mean. It doesn't really sound like the rest. It sounds like a demo, doesn't it? It sounds like just a bedroom recording, which suits the song, but for the album, I don't think really doesn't work.
I think it would have been better as a B-side,
Well.
maybe.
Yeah, well, speaking of B-sides, I was
Yes.
just about to get on to that. Tiger Blood,
Oh, what a banger!
fucking amazing.
I've not heard Tiger Blood in years. I'm going to listen to that as soon as we finish recording.
Unbelievable.
I also
Yeah.
really like Primal Urges. Don't really know why, because it's quite a poor song. I think I quite like the naughtiness of the sexual urges when I was about 13.
Yes, staying on Tiger Blood for a minute. What a great B-side. I mean, I don't know if I own this, but I think all of these singles are very expensive to come by now.
I can imagine so.
Yeah, I don't think they are,
Well, I hope not, because I might buy some.
Well, yeah, I want to buy
I
a
think quite a lot of
wetsuit.
those early singles are relatively reasonably priced.
So yeah, that was our classic, The Vaccines. Do we think it's aged well, guys?
I do. More so than Arctic Monkey. I know Arctic Monkeys was a bit older.
Sorry
I
to
think
cut
the
across.
themes of this don't really... Oh, it's
Oh.
okay, go on.
Wetsuit is currently going for £51.
So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, very reasonable, Liam.
Maybe not then. Yeah, I think it's aged better than Arctic Monkeys' debut album. Thematically. Maybe there's some lyrics that...
Yeah, it's a lot of talk of
Not
being
bad.
young and 17 and...
Yeah, Norgard and post-breakup sex to a point. Some, I don't know. I don't think it's that serious.
No,
No, it's nothing to be worrying about, is it?
But I think musically it holds up. I think if this album came out now, it would be relatively popular. I think it's still...
Yeah.
I think even if you don't have the nostalgia, it's that kind of music that creates nostalgia.
Yeah, I think they're kind of... You mentioned it before, Jan, about your excitement for debut albums. They kind of... This reminds me of Sports Team. Not stylistically, but the feeling... I don't know what happens to my accent then. The feeling I get when I listen to it. I feel like if I was 13 listening to Sports Team, I would feel
Yeah.
exactly the same as I did listening to this.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
I get that.
yeah, 100%. I know what you mean.
100%. 110%.
110%.
110. Is that all we have to say on the matter?
I think it is. If you've not listened to this album, I don't know what you've been doing. Probably enjoying your life.
You'd
But
enjoy
if
that
you've
more,
not
though.
been enjoying your life, then you'll enjoy it a lot more after listening to this.
Yep.
So go ahead, treat yourself on me. Just on me. Treat yourself on me. It's fine. And listen
I
to
do.
this goddamn album because it's bloody good. That
Happy birthday.
was the happy 10 years. That was the album
10
spotlight
years.
for the vaccines. Go on, Liam. What's it called?
What do you expect in the vaccines?
There we go.
Beautiful.
go.
Boy, did we not expect that.
We did not. Tell you what, we are expecting though. It's another segment, ladies and gentlemen. Liam,
Oh, here it is.
get that fucking arm out now.
Not again.
Under the needle.
Records. We're here breaking records. Because we're Greek. Yanni is. And colourblind. But tell me, Yanni, about the colour of your latest purchase.
Why would you do that when you know I clearly don't know what the colour
I
is?
just want you to tell me what you've been
I don't.
Do you not know from
I
when you
genuinely-
purchased it what it said?
I don't read.
And do you have an idea? What does it look like to you? Don't it say grey? It doesn't look grey to you.
Green,
Yeah, it's teal. Yeah,
teal. Okay.
What a guess.
it's got a green teal as well. And what is that album? What is that record, Yanni?
That was the EP that we've alluded to. It's not the right word. Use of that word. Beforehand
No.
by Do Nothing. It was Clue Band. You've heard my thoughts. You've heard all our thoughts. I'm quite happy that I've got it. Although there's a mistake on it.
Is there?
Is
It's the first song on each side, so it's obviously a pressing issue. It's a pressing matter.
Very good.
It skips like really badly. A couple of seconds worth of skipping, and then it's fine after that. But I need to get on to
Rough trade.
rough trade about
Yeah.
that, which is a shame.
Liam,
Yeah, that's what
have you played your version, Liam? Does yours do that?
Yeah, I was going to say mine is perfectly fine.
Oh.
Yep.
Or at
Which
least I
is
didn't
nice.
notice it. And by what you're saying, Yanni, it was very noticeable.
Yeah, you would
mine
have.
didn't.
You would have definitely noticed it. Yeah, it's right at the start,
didn't.
more or less.
I didn't notice it.
Um,
You'll probably get a free one out of that, I imagine. No, I'm sure they won't make you send it back.
Well, you won't because it's sold out because it's the exclusive.
Yep.
So
They
you
always
might
have
get the
spares.
black one.
Yeah.
They always
Anyway,
have spares knocking
you'll
about.
you'll see the colour in HD on our YouTube channel.
720p
Liam,
because I can't be asked rendering it in 1080.
He's a lazy fucker.
There you go.
Takes me
Why
long
don't you
enough
for that.
tell us about what you have got, but not in too much detail, please?
Not too much detail. So I also got Glueland by Do Nothing, also in teal. I would say it's definitely a green teal.
Yep,
It's not-
we've established
it's not
the colour, Liam.
same. Let me tell you more. It's not the same as the Teal album by Weezer, which is a bit more blue, and I would class that as teal, the Weezer album. But we'll say it's teal. I would say more seafoam green, personally. I also picked up, as aforementioned, Sorry's
It's all right.
live album, A Night at the Windmill. Standard Black. I'll talk about that on the video again. And finally, I can talk about this because one of them took a long time to arrive. Well, actually, the first
10
copy
years.
10 years. The first copy. Actually, if you listen back to these podcasts, probably 2 weeks ago, I do mention this very briefly, possibly. But one of them got lost in the post, and it arrived last week. So I have all 3 record store exclusives, I guess, of the
Variants.
Yardox single. Yardox single Dark Days / Peanuts. There was also one released on their Bandcamp which was signed and it was silver. I didn't get that. Very annoying. I have a long story about that which I can tell you if you want, but very annoying.
Tell us on the video.
I did get the Jumbo Records, I did get the Rough Trade, and I got the Resident versions. So 3 different colour sleeves of the same album.
Pointless.
Pointless, but will be worth a lot of money.
Will be. Yeah.
Already up for like 50 quid on Discogs. So, but that's not the point. I like to collect them because I'm a loser. But that's all I've got. That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Wow.
Nothing.
Cal
Nothing
did-
from me this week. However,
Oh.
I have purchased one of my absolute holy grail vinyl items.
Well,
which
hopefully next week
Yeah.
we'll know all about
Mm.
it.
hopefully. So
Mm.
come back then.
Same.
And that
And for now,
is drawing a close to this week's podcast, I'm afraid. I know it's sad. I know. Hold back the tears, please. Hold back. Liam,
Hold back
stop
the
crying.
river.
I can't help it.
Wow.
I can't help it.
Next week we're going to be covering. Well, the album spotlight's going to be Black Honey and their album written and directed.
Yep.
So listen to that before the podcast because maybe
Yep.
that might be a fun thing to do. Who knows? You know where to find us, but just in case you don't, I'm going to list them right for you now. Instagram and Facebook is at Fools on a Hill Podcast. On Twitter, it's at Phil's on Fools. Phil's. I've done it again. Phil.
Bloody
Collins.
Phils everywhere.
Fools on a Hill Pod. YouTube. Fools on a Hill. And that's where you'll find this week's underneath of it. It'll already be up because magic.
'Cause I have nothing better to do with my weekends. We are in a lockdown,
No.
don't you know?
Don't
Doesn't.
you know?
Doesn't. And that's been us. That's been the Fools
It
on a
has.
Hill.
Mm.
Bit nippy on this
Mm.
hill at this point. It's gone dark.
Hmm.
It is. I've gone dark now.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
I'm also hungry.
Time to watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Come on, Bimini.
It is indeed. I can't wait. Who? Bimini.
Bimini
Team
all
the
day
way?
long.
I've
Yanni,
not been
who do you
watching
wanna
it.
Win? Do you want?
I've not been watching it, but Bimini.
You want Bimini?
Yeah.
I was going to give you the list.
It's
of
a
names,
bit
but
of me.
you're just going to go Bimini. Beautiful. And on that note, I have a joke. Do you want to hear a joke? It's quite long.
Always. Go on.
Come on.
It is a joke. It's a full on joke.
Is it going to take as long
It's
as it
really
took you
bad.
to tell Molly and Lydia before?
Is it going to
Yes.
take you as long as it is
Because
to
I
say
told
that
the
it's a
joke. I
joke?
also grabbed the can of Guinness out the fridge. So
Come on.
the setting, we're under the sea. Okay, there's a crab and there's a shrimp, and they're in love. They love each other. They want to spend the rest of their lives together. Shrimp goes to their dad, says, "Listen, I fell in love with this crab. We want to live together." Crab says, "No, no chance. You and that crab. Look at the state of it. It walks sideways. It doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on. You're not going anywhere near that crab. End it." So Shrimp goes up to Crab and says, "Listen, Crab, Dad said we can't be together. We're gonna have to end this. He said it's weird that you walk sideways and we can't be together." Crab says, "I'm not having that. Bang out of order." As crabs do. He said, "I'm going to speak to you, Dad. I'm going for a few pints now, and then I'm going to speak to you, Dad." Cut to a little bit later on. The shrimps are all sat around the fire. They sat around their rock, just chilling. The family shrimp, and through the reeds comes the crab. And it's walking face on. It's walking forward, against the laws of crabs. And it's walking straight towards him. And Shrimp jumps up straight away and goes, "Oh, crab, what you've changed? You've learned to walk forward just for me." And Crab goes, "Shut up, I'm pissed." Thanks very much for listening, everybody. Marinate on that one. And we'll see you next week.
Liam will not
For
be
more
here.
Stay
love,
warm.
laugh, and live.
No, we're going to bin off Liam.
This.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, I'm marrying a crab. See you guys.
See you in a bit.
Goodbye.
When crabs look at humans, do you think they think we're walking sideways?